Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Cooper, and this is week two. You guys are doing a great job, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. Sorry about the reflection on my glasses. I'm old, so I can't see. These are my readers. Okay, so let's quickly talk about what's going on for this week. We have started Module 2, so I'm going to go ahead and go in and take a quick look at that. So for Module 2, there's an overview which will tell you that Module 2 is a 2-week module, and we are going to write our first real essay. I'm also looking at the first essays that you did write. And I didn't call it a real essay because I'm not grading it as a real essay. I'm really just trying to learn about you and what your abilities are with writing. And so I'll finish those, grading those up, and you should see some scores tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. Okay, so for module two, though, we're going to write our next essay, and this one will be graded as a formal essay. And so this is where you'll want to pay attention to all of the key elements that you've learned so far about the writing process and how to write a good essay. So go ahead and read this overview, and it tells you what we're going to be working on for the next 2 weeks. Now, back to the modules. Couple of things you want to be aware of. We have some good questions in Ask Piazza. Thank you for asking the questions there so that everybody can follow along. If you haven't been in Piazza to see what's going on, go ahead and look because there's some good questions and some good answers. Of course, that would be patting myself on the back for giving good answers, which isn't too hard to do, right? Since I am the teacher. But a couple of things that come up when you see chapter 3 readings, chapter 4 reading, or any of the readings from Connect. Those are just reminders that you really need to read those chapters, but because I have to bring them in as assignments, they show up in your grading portion. But I've marked them all as not counted in the final grade, and they're worth 0 points. So it doesn't affect your grade in any way whatsoever. That doesn't mean that you should just skip them, though. Okay, so they're there, and I've gone through the trouble to make them pop up so that you do see them and you don't just skip it. Okay, so occasionally when I add new ones, they may not actually show up as not graded, and so you might see them as a graded assignment for a while, but just remember that they are never part of graded assignment. Okay, same thing with your LSA. Sometimes those are your Learn Smart Achieve assignments. Sometimes those, since there's a connection between Connect and Canvas, the connection gets lost and they may not open up. Just let me know if it's not opening, but you generally it'll take a couple of minutes when you click on one of them for it to transfer you over into Connect. So in this case, it took about 3 or 4 seconds and then boom, it takes me over. Okay, so let me go back to my modules. So LSA assignments are those, and then there are also lessons that you'll be assigned that get auto-graded as 0 for whatever reason. So if you're working further ahead than I'm teaching at the moment, then those will show up as 0 and it'll affect your grade. But just remember that if you've done it, it will get graded eventually when I get to that part of my scoring. So don't worry about it. They're not permanent zeros. If you've noticed that we've passed it and it's been over a week since we've completed that lesson and you still have a 0, then you can ask me about it at that point. But if it's not even due yet, then don't worry about what the score is. Same thing with anything that has a quiz. Some of the quiz questions are auto-graded, but then others, like the first one you had where you had to write a summary at the very end, I have to go in and grade that, obviously. So your score is not going to be accurate until I do that. So again, only give me at least a week after it's due before it's graded. I'm usually a lot quicker than that, especially in this 8-week accelerated course. Okay, so we have an important assignment that's going to be due at the end of this week, and that is your draft. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that. So the draft is tied to the next essay. And I explain all of that to you in this assignment here. And at the very bottom, you can see that there's a section on how to submit your draft and how to do peer reviews. So you will do peer reviews. I put you in groups of 3, and so you're going to look at 2 other of your classmates' papers and answer the questions. There are 5 questions that you have to answer as a peer review. You're not a teacher, you're not grading someone's assignment. If you feel strong enough in your skills and your abilities, and you do see some very glaring mistakes like spelling errors, you can point them out. But that's not the purpose of this peer review. The purpose is to answer the 5 questions that will then help the writer in those particular areas. We're not grading anyone's paper, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't have the skills to be looking at someone else's paper. Yes, you do have the skills. I just taught you the skills, and then I'm asking you 5 questions based on what we just learned when you're looking at the papers. Okay, and a lot of it has to do with the writing process, etc. So this particular area is important because you're going to write this next paper in 4 stages. The first stage is to submit your draft. That's this week. Then you're going to go back in next week and you're going to do the peer review. So you're going to give feedback to your peers. Then you're going to look at the comments and the feedback that you got from your peers. And then you're going to rewrite your first essay, and then you will submit a final submission. And that's all due next week. So this week is the draft, peer review. Next week is the revision. See how we're doing the writing process that you're learning about? Okay, so you have to click this button in order to get over into Connect to be able to submit your first draft. Now all of it happens in the same place. So first draft is in the same place that the peer reviews, where you look to see your comments, all in the same place. And then where you submit your final draft is also in Connect. So you always come back to this. Or if you do click on the essay one link, it'll take you over there as well. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. That's going to be an important part of it because if you turn in your paper late, you're going to miss the whole peer review process and you're not going to be able to get feedback, but you're also going to lose points. So you want to make sure that you submit your drafts on time and that you do your peer reviews on time. Most of you have done a good job of getting stuff submitted on time. There was only one person who didn't submit that first essay last week. So I'm really proud of you guys, and I'm glad to be working with you because you seem to be a motivated group of students, and that's what it takes to learn. All right, so remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask in Piazza. And if you don't, good luck with your work this week, and I'll check back in on you on Friday.